Hi, and welcome to Your Health with Katriel. I'm Katriel Holloway, your health advocate, and we're here today to talk about some great information on behalf of health, overall health and wellness with you today. So we're excited to have on our show Crystal Askew Lawson. Crystal, welcome to the show, and thank you. And Crystal is a holistic coach, and you are with Simple Uncomplicated Living.
Yes, ma'am.
What is Simple Uncomplicated Living all about?
Simple Uncomplicated Living is all about just what the name says. We tend to make things more complicated than they are. You know, we fill up our schedules and then we say, oh, I'm so tired, I don't have anything, I don't have enough time to do anything that I need to do, when you're the one that filled your schedule up. So simplify it, just take some stuff out. It's just that simple.
I think people are busy and they wear that as a badge of honor. So, oh, I'm so busy, I got all this stuff that I need to do. And this is something has been sacrificed. So how does your company, your business help people to simplify what they are scheduled to do?
Well, that's a great question. First of all, I have people look at your schedule, take your calendar out and look at all the things that you have to do. And I did this with a client a couple of weeks ago, and she called me back. She said, oh my goodness, I barely have time to breathe. Because every second of every day was filled with something. So you go through and you do an inventory. Is this something that I really need to do? Is this something that somebody else can do? So we talk about delegation, which is a great thing. But basically, you are looking at your schedule and saying, where am I in the schedule? Am I taking care of myself so that I am as well as I can be to do all the things that I want to do?
And that comes into play with eating, exercising?
Eating, exercising, rest, your spiritual activity, your relationships, everything is affected.
Okay.
So it all works together.
As a holistic approach.
As a holistic approach.
We talk about that a lot on the show. We want to make sure people are living a balanced life. So you help them balance different departments and categories.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So if you have a job that you hate, then you're going to go home. You might kick the dog when you go in the house.
But it pays the bill, Crystal.
But it does pay the bill. But at what cost? What else does it cost you? You know, what other bill are you paying that you don't necessarily look at as a bill? You know, you're going home and kicking the dog. The dog has nothing but love for you when you come in. And he doesn't know, like, what happened? I don't know, Sally Sue made you mad at work today, you know. So we have to look at all areas.
Okay. And as a health coach, how do you help people simplify their lives with their diet? What do you recommend and what do you tell them?
Well, first of all, I'd ask them to, again, take an inventory of what are you eating. You know, stop and listen to your body. So if you eat McDonald's every single day, how do you feel? You know, as opposed to if you don't eat it on a certain day, how do you feel?
Right.
You know, you might have more clarity about things. You might have a little bit more energy. You know, and then look at the things that you're actually eating. Is it real food? Is it something that grew out of the ground, or is it something man-made? And that makes a difference because we really are what we eat.
So what made you get involved wanting to help people? Usually people have their own personal health journey or issue that will make them want to get involved. So what made you get involved?
Right. Well, my journey began a few years ago when I had what doctors have called unspecified joint pain, meaning they really don't know what it was. And so we went through a round of medications. And prior to that, I was not one that read the side effects on medications. But this particular the last one I did, I looked at it and there were like 15 or 20 side effects trying to correct this one thing. The major difference that it made was it just basically wiped me out to the point where I would sit up and then fall back over, sit up and fall back over. And I really got concerned because I called the doctor's office and they said, well, you can't stop taking it, you know, just give it a couple of more days. I'm like, I don't have a couple of more days. I have 2 small kids that I'm trying to take care of, a husband that travels. I don't have a couple of more days to see if it's going to work. And so the doctor and I agreed to disagree, you know, and then I started, I decided to take control myself. I started to do more research. I started to look at things a little more closely. I started to read that information that comes with the medications that you get before you take it. You know, can I see what the side effects are before so I know what to expect?
Right.
And from there, I just developed a passion to say, hey, I do have a voice. You know, when I go to the doctor, I have a voice. I can say, this is what's going on to me. This is what's happening with my body. So I really learned to listen to Crystal's body. You know, what's going on in Crystal's body? How does certain things, lack of rest, eating too much fast food, not drinking enough water. How do those things affect me? When I started to change those things, then my health situation started to change.
Okay.
So I was really excited about that.
And you blink and Simple Uncomplicated Living was birthed?
It was birthed over a few years.
Okay.
I stole the name from my sister.
Okay.
I didn't steal it. I asked her permission. But basically, she would say that all the time. I'd call her about one thing or another. She's like, it's really simple and uncomplicated. I just want to live a simple, uncomplicated life. So
there it is.
When I got to the point where I was ready to start the business and I was thinking about a name, I called her up and I said, I would really love it if you would allow me to use this name. She's like, sure, because that's just the kind of person she is. But we overcomplicate things a lot of times. Our schedules are the way they are because we made them that way.
Right.
And everybody has choices and we can choose to be busy or not. And is that busyness really producing a lifestyle that you want?
So when people come to you, because one diet fits everyone,
right?
How do you customize that? How do you customize it if I am not a person that exercises and I'm not going to stop eating late and I just love steak 3 times a week?
Well, it all begins with a conversation and getting clear on the goals. What are your goals to make your lifestyle what you want it to be? And we spend a lot of time up front talking about that because I'm simply here to be an advocate for you, to help you along your journey. A lot of times we want to get better at things, like people want to get better at tennis or golf. They go out and get a coach. It's no different really with your health and your lifestyle, because we oftentimes know what to do, we just have trouble sticking to it.
Right.
So it's nice to have that coach, that voice in the back of your mind saying, okay, you can do this. This is what you want. What do you have to do every day to get you a little bit closer to the goals that you want to attain in your health and your lifestyle?
Because I'm finding too that when people come to me, they're having an issue with self-discipline, self-will and willpower. How would you speak to that on behalf of motivating someone? How do you coach someone to have that willpower not to eat late at night?
Well, as far as eating late at night, one of the things that I really have used on myself, my family members, and a lot of the clients that I see is developing a bedtime routine. And I associate it with raising children. When you first have your children, you get them on a bedtime routine.
That's true,
So they know that, okay, it's bath time. That means it's time to relax. Okay, here comes the bedtime story.
Right.
The lights are going down low. So, and you get into a routine that says every night I'm going to go to bed by 10 o'clock. In order for me to be in the bed by 10 o'clock, these are the things that I need to do. I need to wash my face, brush my teeth, take a shower, read for a few minutes, whatever it is, and then say, okay, if my bedtime is at 10 o'clock, then I'm going to stop eating 2 hours or 3 hours before bedtime. So that means at 7 or 8 o'clock, you're having your last meal or your last snack for the evening. And then your body has time to start preparing to digest that so that you're not just laying down and you've got this big ball of food sitting there waiting.
Right.
So it's really a matter of helping people to see the benefits of it and then helping them see that this is a goal that they've set for themselves. And nothing is going to change if you don't do the work to make the changes happen.
Now, I want to shift gears a little bit because I know there's a lot of conversation about sugar. People have a lot of issues about sugar intake. They're even saying now that it is toxic, it is a poison, and it's very addictive, as if it was a drug. How do you help people when sugar is in everything?
Sugar is in everything. So what I help people to do or encourage them to do is read the label. You would be surprised where you find sugar.
Right.
And first of all, so read the label, first of all.
Because it doesn't always say sugar.
It doesn't always say sugar.
Right.
It doesn't always say sugar. And now with, for example, they've changed high fructose corn syrup to just corn syrup or corn sugar. So you really have to be what I call a label detective and read everything. And then eat whole, natural, organic foods in their natural form. So instead of having that apple juice, eat an apple. You're going to get more of the nutrients that you need. One thing that I don't do, I never start by telling anybody that you can't have anything.
Okay.
That you have to stop doing this, because that's not going to work. We know that. The minute you say you can't have that piece of cheesecake, that's the very thing you're going to go for.
You always want what you can't have.
You always want what you can't have. So my approach is crowding out.
Okay.
So instead of saying, don't eat that donut, so before you have that donut, why not have a banana with that? And then if you still want the donut, okay. Have a glass of water before you have that cup of coffee with 5 packets of sugar in it. You know, if you still want, you know, the cup of coffee, maybe you'll just want 4 packets of sugar. But eventually what will happen by adding in more things that are beneficial to your body, those things will eventually crowd out the things that are not so beneficial, because instead of you craving the sugar, then you'll begin to crave the broccoli and the carrots and the tomatoes and the grapes and the oranges and those types of things.
Have you had people to say that they are sugar addicts? I'm a recovering one. I'm just saying.
I haven't had anybody yet to say that, to be, you know, to openly confess that.
Okay, and I say that because people do a lot of sodas, and
soda is a big
sugar in it.
culprit. Soda is a big culprit. I was astounded to learn. I just looked it up one day on 44 teaspoons of sugar in 1 can of soda.
We're overdosing on sugar.
We're overdosing on sugar. So I myself am recovering from Krispy Kreme.
Okay, so you're a sugar addict too. You just
so I am.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not a big sweet eater. Now I have my certain sweets. I can, for the most part, I can take sweets or leave them.
Right.
Except I had an issue with Krispy Kreme donuts when the hot light is on. You know, nobody's perfect.
Nobody's perfect.
But the idea is
you won't find me in Krispy Kreme drive-thru. No, not at all. It's across the street from my house. Really?
Oh, wow.
Hot down sound on? Really?
Wow, just blinking in your face.
But when I have my moments, I do one glazed.
There you go.
And I'm a gluten-free person. So I feel horrible afterwards.
Right,
but man, when it's going down.
It sure does taste good.
So I just thought I'd bring up the whole sugar thing for on behalf of the people who have such sugar. So what would you recommend to that person who hits that sugar low at 3 o'clock every day? And that's when people tend to say that's when they want that coffee. They want to go to Starbucks. They want that little pick-me-up. So,
well, I would ask them to look at their diet as a whole. Are you eating breakfast? Number one.
That's true.
I mean, we've all heard our parents say breakfast is the most important meal of the day. It really is. And what are you eating? Are you getting enough protein? Because if you have enough protein in your diet, that's going to help stabilize your sugar levels. And what are you eating for lunch? You know, if you're eating the hamburger and the French fries and the Diet Coke, then by 3 o'clock, all that's going to go. That's going to spike your blood sugar, and then it's going to drop you at 3 o'clock. And then you're looking for something to hold you until dinner. So look at what you're eating throughout the day and make better food choices.
And speaking of food choices, most of our food is nutrient deficient. So how do we supplement that? I know I tell people vitamins and supplements because you're not getting it in the soil. We're not letting the ground rest every 7 years like they did in the biblical days to make sure those nutrients are there. So what do you recommend to your people?
As much as possible, yes, you want to have a good supplement for those things that you are deficient in. I recommend actually going to your doctor at your next visit and ask them to check your nutrient levels, because they can do that. Now, I don't know that they're going to readily offer that, but you absolutely have the right to ask them to check that. And then as much as possible, in addition to eating and using the supplements, then also eat as much whole food as you can, as much organic, clean whole food. Go to Whole Foods, go to your local farmer's market. Farmer's market season is about to begin any weekend now. And that's a great opportunity to try a variety of different fruits and vegetables that maybe you hadn't thought of before. But eating those things will make a difference.
Have you seen Food Inc. or Forks Over Knives?
I have seen both of those.
What's your take on those?
Both of them are very interesting.
The research is there about plant-based foods.
Exactly. So it's just more information that we can use. And the main thing is to be educated. Like you said, the research is there, the information is there. We just get so busy that we just rather go through a drive-through, go through the middle of the aisle at the store to find what's convenient, rather than taking the time to really make the best choices for your bodies.
And it's cheaper to eat unhealthy foods.
Is it cheaper?
It's
really?
cheaper. But you're going to pay a cost. That's my take on it. You're going to pay for it somewhere.
Healthcare now, sick care later.
Exactly.
You know, either way you're going to pay, so why not pay on the front end by giving your body the best that you can give it,
Right.
so that it will in return give you the best that you need to do all the things that you want, so that you don't get to a point where you're tired and achy and sluggish all the time. You know, for me, when I was beginning my journey and thinking about the future, you know, I want to be able to play with my kids now, and then someday when they have grandkids, I want to be able to play with them too. You know, so right now I'm gotten to the point where it's nothing for me to tell my kids, hey, let's go outside and play kickball.
Oh, how cool, yeah.
Now, they think I'm crazy.
Right. Parents are not supposed to do that, Mommy. You're just supposed to
But I call it making memories.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? But you want to be able to have the strength and the ability to do those types of things, or go for a hike or a bike ride
Right.
or a walk without feeling like, oh my goodness, I'm going to die if I take one more step.
Right. Or take them to the park and sit.
Take them to the
and
park.
watch them. Yeah.
No.
I'm so with you on that. I want to be the one who teaches my daughter how to do a cartwheel. And I say, hey, baby, just put your hands on the ground and see what happens.
That's all
I want to
you
be in
gotta
shape to
Yeah,
do so. I'm with you on
absolutely.
that. So you mentioned your journey. So what are some of the health issues that people come to you about? What are some of the main ones?
The main one right now is just fatigue. People are just tired and busy, overwhelmed, overworked. And so that's why I spend a lot of time talking about what's in your schedule. Let's look at it. Where have you scheduled time for yourself in there? Just 15 minutes to just breathe and relax. You know, having that bedtime routine, or waking up slowly in the morning, having a morning routine. You know, you wake up, you exercise, you meditate and pray if that's what you do. You know, and then you gradually move into your day. Or are you just bolting out of the bed and just running, grabbing that cup of coffee and heading out the door without taking any thought to yourself and how you're going to get through, how you're going to have enough energy to get through the day?
So you give them your recommendation, they follow it through for so many days. After that, you check back in with them, and what's some of their feedback? What are some of the things they're saying?
The main thing is like, wow, I didn't know how busy I was. Because we put all this stuff, we have all these electronic calendars and everything, we put stuff in there. We really don't go and look at it, but they have like a list feature where you can print and see what's ahead for the day. And what people are finding is they have no space in the day for themselves, number one. They have no space in there for rest. And so they're staying up until 11, 12, 1 o'clock, getting back up at 6 o'clock, you know, and just on this vicious cycle. And over time, that creates a level of fatigue that, if not intervened, can have some detrimental effects.
And your take on, you mentioned about your loved ones and your family members. How do you place kids on a regimen? I know there's a lot of issues with childhood obesity and what they're eating and the lack of exercise that they're getting. So what do you do with your kids?
Well, what I have done with my kids is I have educated them. Every time I learn something new, they learn something new.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So, and one thing that I've done that has gone over really well, when they watch this, they're going to be like, what? Is every week we try something new. We try a new vegetable.
Okay.
We try a new recipe. And, you know, if you don't like it, that's fine. But if you do, that's fine too. Now you have something new that you can add. But kids are pretty moldable, especially earlier in life. They're pretty moldable. And they will pretty much go along with whatever you give them. Okay. Now, the confession that I have to make is that I addicted my children to French fries.
Oh my
Because I was addicted to French fries.
Wow.
But when you know better, you do better.
That is so true.
And so now, you know.
Shame on you, parent.
Shame on me. Shame on me. But, you know.
How about fries have like milk and wheat and.
They just, who knows what they have.
Oh, well, that's true. Who knows?
Who knows?
It's not about food.
You know, the way that I'm trying to combat that, though, is, and that's been a difficult journey in and of itself. And I understand, because it was difficult for me to give that up. So now I have to give them the space to work through that as well. But we've learned to make our own fries at home.
Oh, cool,
in the oven. You know, we'll just get a
or sweet potato
regular
fries
old potato,
too.
or sweet potato fries. You know, just making things at home. So teaching them how to cook, the joy of cooking, and how different you feel when you make have a home cooked meal as opposed to having a fast food meal or a heavily processed meal.
So, having said that, I know that mothers set the tone in their households when it comes to food and dinner, and just really everything of the heart of the home. Speak to that mom who is busy, who is overwhelmed, who is exhausted, who is fatigued during the day and has a lot going on. How would you talk to them and tell them there are other alternatives, there's a different way, it's another lifestyle? What would you say to that busy mom?
To that busy mom, I would say, because I was that busy mom, I would say just stop and take a breath.
Okay.
Look at all the things that you have told yourself that have to be done and go through the list and say, okay, does that really have to be done? Do the kids really have to go to 15 activities every week?
I agree, yeah.
You know, do they really, and as bad as it is on the mom, think about how it is on the kids.
Yeah.
Because then they're learning that habit of not having downtime and rest time. The second thing I would say to that mom is, it's okay for you to take time for yourself.
That's exactly right.
It's okay.
And not be selfish with it. This is a difference.
It's not a selfish thing. You think about when you're on an airplane and they say if the air mask comes down, they say you put your mask on first and then you can help somebody else. Because if you're gasping for air and you pass out on the person, then both of you are gone.
That's true.
So I use that analogy a lot, and
Great
people
analogy.
really, you know, they really like, oh, okay. So if you're not the best that you can be, then you're not going to be the best that you can be for other people.
Right.
So I encourage what I call extreme self-care. You know, take one night a week. You know, there's 7 days. You deserve to have one. You know, take a nice bath, just sit and read. Do something that you really like to do.
But the house is going to fall apart without me.
I promise it won't.
Exactly. I got you.
Promise it will. I have tried it. The house is still standing.
Right.
And that gives other family members the opportunity to rise to the occasion to help, you know, be a part of the family community and do things to help out.
Great idea.
Great idea.
So to that exhausted mom, they can be able to take some time for themselves, and the kids can help out too, because I believe in delegation.
Absolutely.
Right? So the kids can be making some meals or you know, participate during the week. What about for those fathers who are working all day, every day, and they're getting home and they're exhausted and they're tired?
Yeah.
So
fathers are a little bit tougher.
they are. That's why I'm bringing it up.
Fathers are a little bit tougher. Because they feel like they have to be the provider, they have to be the strong one, and you know, it's not okay for me to do things for myself. But it's okay.
Right.
It's okay for dad as well as for mom to go play golf or go for a run or whatever it is, go bowling, whatever it is that you do as dad that makes you a man, a father, a brother, a husband, you know, whatever that keeps you grounded and helps you keep your sanity and your stress level down, because they need that just as much as that busy mom.
Okay, and speaking of which, you've been married for how long?
I've been married for 18 wonderful years.
And am I thinking of a recent anniversary as well?
A recent anniversary just a week ago. 2
A
weeks
week ago, okay.
On the 16th.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Just wanted to bring that out.
Well, thank you.
So making
blushing.
your life and your marriage simple and uncomplicated living. Any recommendations there as well for people that are watching on behalf of marriage, since you've been doing it for 18
years? On behalf of marriage, just have fun. Remember how it was when you were dating.
Absolutely.
The kind of things that you did.
Yeah.
Just
still
go
date
bowling.
me. Still ask me out.
Still date me. Just still ask me out.
Yeah.
You know, let's go to the park and swing.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of people feel like we can't do that. Well, why not? You know, I'm still trying to figure out at what point in life we lose that childlike wonder.
Yeah.
Like, we got a trampoline.
Okay.
And everybody's like, what are you doing with that? What are you doing on the trampoline? Well, I paid for it, number one, but you know, I like to do this. So I kind of went back to my childhood and said, what kind of things did I like, or what kind of things did I not do enough of?
Right.
So we got a trampoline, and my husband is the biggest fan of the trampoline.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, look, honey, I can do flips. I'm like, I'm so proud of you.
So it sounds like this is another way that you stay young as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Crystal, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
How can people get in contact with you?
You can get in contact with me at my website, www.simpleuncomplicated.living.
It's just that simple, right?
It's just that simple.
Okay.
My email address is crystal@crystalAskewLawson.com. Or you can reach me by phone at 919-649-6589.
Okay. Wonderful. Thanks for coming on then.
You're welcome. Thanks
Appreciate
for
it.
having
Thank you
me.
for sharing your journey
welcome.
to health.
Anytime.
Absolutely. You all, that's enough for us for tonight here at Your Health with Katriel. Again, I'm your host, Katriel Holloway, and join us the next time again for more alternative health and balanced living. And again, we can make it simple and uncomplicated too. So thanks for joining us.